In a world that constantly encourages us to hold on to achievements, identities, relationships, and outcomes, the idea of not becoming attached to things can easily be misunderstood. For many people, non-attachment sounds like emotional distance, indifference, or giving up on what matters. But in psychology and philosophy, attachment is not about love or care. It is about needing things to stay the same in order to feel safe. This video explores what attachment really is, why the human mind naturally clings to stability, and why letting go often feels threatening rather than freeing. Drawing from psychological insight and philosophical reflection, Part 1 looks at the hidden ways attachment shapes anxiety, control, and identity, often without us noticing. Rather than offering techniques or quick solutions, this reflection invites a calmer understanding of how attachment works, and why loosening our grip is less about losing something and more about learning to relate differently to change. This is not a video about withdrawal from life. It is about staying present without gripping. Chapter 1: Why Attachment Feels Like Safety. Most people don't experience attachment as a problem. Attachment often feels reasonable, protective, even responsible. We attach to people, routines, identities, goals, and expectations because attachment promises stability. It tells us that something will remain the same long enough for us to rest. From a psychological perspective, this makes sense. The human nervous system is oriented toward predictability. Certainty reduces anxiety. Continuity reduces vigilance. Attachment offers the feeling that life can be held still, or at least controlled enough to feel safe. But this sense of safety is fragile, because life does not remain still. Change, loss, uncertainty, and disruption are not failures of the system. They are the system. Attachment becomes painful not because it exists, but because it collides with impermanence. What we attach to becomes something we feel we cannot afford to lose, and that is where tension begins. Chapter 2: What Attachment Really Is. Attachment is often misunderstood as emotional closeness, but psychologically, attachment is not about love. It is about dependence of inner stability on external conditions. Attachment says, I can only feel okay if this stays. If this changes, I won't be able to cope. This must not end. In this way, attachment binds our emotional regulation to things we cannot fully control. This is why attachment creates vigilance rather than peace. The mind begins to monitor constantly. Is this still safe? Is this still mine? Is this still working? What we call holding on is often an attempt to manage fear, not an expression of care. Letting go, then, is not about abandoning what matters. It is about releasing the belief that our well-being depends on permanence. Chapter 3: Invisible Attachments and Identity. Some of the strongest attachments are not to objects or people, but to self-images. We attach to being competent, being needed, being morally right, being consistent, being admired, being understood. These attachments are subtle because they are socially rewarded. But when these identities are threatened, emotional reactions emerge: defensiveness, anger, shame, withdrawal. The pain is not caused by disagreement or change. It is caused by identity destabilization. Letting go of these attachments can feel like losing oneself. This is why non-attachment often feels frightening, because beneath attachment lies a deeper question. Who am I if I am not holding on to this? Chapter 4: Buddhist Insight. Gripping versus participating. In Buddhist psychology, attachment is not framed as a moral flaw. It is described as a mental movement, a tightening. Life is understood as inherently impermanent. Attachment is the attempt to deny this through control. Non-attachment does not mean disengagement. It means learning to participate without gripping, to care without demanding certainty, to love without possession, to act without clinging to outcomes. This distinction is crucial. Non-attachment is not withdrawal from life. It is deeper intimacy with reality as it is. Chapter 5: Why Letting Go Feels Like Threat. Letting go is rarely difficult because we don't understand it. It is difficult because it activates fear. Fear of uncertainty, vulnerability, not knowing, losing identity. Attachment protects us from these experiences. So when attachment loosens, what returns is not peace at first, but exposure. This is why letting go cannot be forced. It requires safety, patience, and compassion. In part one, we explored what attachment is, why the mind clings, and why letting go often feels threatening rather than freeing. In part two, we turned toward how to live with less inner gripping, not by renouncing life, but by changing our relationship to it